Welcome back, appreciators of high-end knives. If you're out there, no, this is not going to be a budget knife. This one running pretty close to $4, and it just dropped. Comes from a company that I've only had some slight familiarity with before, in a knife that was loaned to me by the knife junkie Bob DeMarco, which was a true double-edged knife by the same design house. This is, of course, from Arcane Design. That is Israel Bacchus company. This is a brand new one, just dropped about a week ago. And this is the Abyss. Arcane Design Abyss. And it comes in this neat zippered semi-soft case, which is kind of neat, a little different. We're going to zoom in just a little to get started. Take a look at this beauty. It comes in about 4 different flavors. I'm always a sucker for the satin, belt satin finish. And the OEM for this knife, I am pretty sure, and I've heard, is Reate. So hard to go wrong if you're talking Reate knives or Reich knives or Wee knives, but Reate is extremely highly regarded, and I'll have to add Best Tech in there too, by the way. But $375 for this version, $385 for some other versions that are blackened. He does also offer, interestingly enough, little accoutrements where you can get kind of a different pivot surround there. Interesting how we've got sort of one glowing brighter blue than the other one's sort of a gray. And he has, kind of a rainbow anodized and Damascus looking anodization, all sorts of things. It's a 4-inch blade. Not my preference. I would love to have seen this in about a 4 3/4 to 4-inch blade, and I have some comparisons in this same price range that I'm going to show you in a moment. I must also say, by no means am I disappointed. So look at the faceted handle. I'm going to show you first a couple of blings that came with this. Here's a sticker for this knife model, the Abyss, and there is Arcane Design. Well, it's held that way, I believe. Kind of a fractured crystal, sort of a, there it is again on the case, logo. Israel likes to deal a little bit with, kind of the dark side. Some of the other knives are called the Crawler, and I forget some of the other ones, but he likes kind of the sci-fi theme, and I guess maybe a little bit on kind of the dangerous side. Best words I can find. We're going to call this a Bowie clip Tanto. And I bet you there aren't too many of those out there. Maybe in the custom world there are. We're going to call this kind of semi-custom. I think that's what Knife Center likes to use for a terminology when you've got a special designed, limited run of a knife that is made by a OEM. So this is designed by Israel, and he worked with Reate to create the knife. This one is in a gray blasted titanium with a titanium backspacer. Yep. And it's probably going to be steel screws. No, titanium screws. That is very cool. Yeah, the only thing magnetic about this knife is the blade. That is very cool. So it's kind of what you're getting for the money is the high-end materials, and this is M390 premium blade steel. The ergos are great. I mean, it does fit nicely in the hand. There's a gentle swoop. It's not straight in that part of the handle, and you got your finger groove here, and you got some effective jimping here that does not bite the finger but does hold you. There's the Arcane design logo again, and that's the logo that he designed specifically for the Abyss. You see? So a cool feature that the knife has its own logo or symbol. It's certainly light enough. It's got a full fuller. It's a flipper with a little bit of jimping. Doesn't stick up much at all, but easy to light switch it. Got a good detent. In fact, I can finger flick it, I think. Yeah, it's still a little stiff, and I'm not going to attempt to thumb flick it because I tried that on my own the other day and I couldn't get anywhere with it. I do expect it's going to break in, and that happens. And with the premium knives, you sort of let that happen. And the other thing you can't do is be squeezing on the lock bar when you're trying to flip it. You got to sort of stay light on the lock bar, and then it's out with no problem. But look at the grinds on this thing. I mean, just amazing. Hollow grind in here. Beautiful hollow grind. Beautiful flat grind on the front. And the blade is certainly just finely razor sharpened. Have no problems with that, and that's what Reate does. All right. If I can find my tape measure, we're going to measure this guy up. Take a look at that for a moment while I locate that tape measure. And I think it's hiding under the background here. I may need to go get another tape measure. Okay. We'll go with the big boy here. So, here's a fat tape measure for you. 8 inches exactly overall, and 3.5 inches exactly to the handle. That was easy. As far as other dimensions go, handle thickness, 0.53 inches. Blade thickness, 0.15, which should be 4 millimeters, let's see, or thereabouts. Yeah, 4 millimeters. And the weight, come on. Here we go. It is a relatively light for the stock of the knife, 4.33 ounces. Okay, so we got that out of the way pretty quick. I love everything about it. It's a class knife. It's definitely a slick and deadly design. Beautiful fuller that goes so far out. That is pretty interesting. And a swedge, you've got a lot of complexity here between the jimping, the swedge, and the fuller, and that grind. I mean, really great work, really great design work. You may or may not be a fan of this sort of profile and design, or you might. And there is, I think it's going to say, yeah, it's Arcane design right in there. And I'm not sure if also in there he has the blade steel, because I couldn't find it elsewhere. But look at the weight relieving in there on both sides. Kind of a bridge work. But no, I am not finding the steel. But it was all on the little card that you saw at the start of this review. Okay. There's the other types you can get: satin black, stonewash gray, stonewash black, all black, satin flats gray. A lot of options. And if you are interested, they may still be available. Check out the Arcane Design website. Now, for comparison today, I recently reviewed a Reate branded knife. This is the Mini Crossroads, and it's pretty close in size. No, actually, the Arcane is about an inch longer overall, and the blade is slightly longer. This one's pretty close. This is about a 3.4 inch blade, I think. But we've got more of a drop point, spear point, reverse Tanto going on there, but you can see the same beautiful finish that Reate does on both knives. Now, a lot of different work here. Of course, we've got the black micarta that's all inletted. Whole different kind of work on this knife. Love it. And also here is, of course, the Socom Bravo by Microtech. And the reason I'm bringing this one out is this was made by Reich Knives for Microtech. Of course, big controversy over that. First knife they had made overseas, etc. As far as detents go, this has almost no detent, so you can shake it out anytime you want. But interesting comparison here in the way the fullers were done. Very similar, right? Looks similar to me. I mean, not the same shape, but you've got the fuller on this actually going all the way out and ending at the spine of the blade, whereas the fuller on the Abyss stops. But you have that same wide and then narrow look to the fuller, and I think the fullers really add a lot to the look of the blade. This one, by the way, if you saw the review, was actually hand serrated by Tony Marfione. Added a few bucks to the price, and the box is signed by him. So different handle materials. Got the titanium here. We've got carbon fiber here. I think it would have been nice to have some carbon fiber in the Abyss. This, by the way, the Bravo is a 4-inch blade, so about a ½ inch longer, as you can see. And lots longer overall. It's around 9 inches as opposed to 8 inches on the Abyss. Still, it's a lighter knife, definitely more maneuverable. The owner of this knife is going to have to decide whether they want to pocket carry it and make it a user, a Sunday carry, or maybe not carry it at all, because I think sometimes we buy knives because they're collectibles. We may or may not see this again. You never know. Clip is titanium and does go in and out of the pocket relatively easily, but it is it leaves about an inch sticking out of the pocket, roughly. It is not a deep carry, but many titanium clips are not deep carry. It's usually the spring clips that are. So there we have the latest and greatest from Arcane Design and Israel Bacchus. Check out some of his other designs at his website. I'll make sure I leave you the link. And again, this is the Abyss titanium M390 custom designed knife made by Reate. Let it look around. Might be something up your alley, or not. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to give this review a like and subscribe if you haven't already. You'll see a little shield over in the lower right. Click that and it'll bring you to where you can subscribe to my channel and be notified of all the reviews as they come out, and some shorts. Take care.